Hello everyone, and welcome to Should You Bother for Modern Warfare 2 2022's campaign. This will be a spoiler-free review, and I'm going to be going through my entire list of Call of Duty campaigns at the end. But I think we're about a day and a half in early access. I just finished it, and I was really happy with it. We're going to go right into it and give it a score. I'm going to give Modern Warfare 2 campaign an A. While it's an A, I'm comparing it to other Call of Duty campaigns. If you're talking about every game in the world, I would say a B. So I think the overall grade here we're going to go with this B. But compared to other Call of Duty campaigns, I think on my list it's in the top 3 or 4. It's a very good Call of Duty campaign, but at the end of the day, a Call of Duty campaign really doesn't match up to most other single player experiences. They're fun, they're an action movie, they're a silly, like, go through guns blazing, but like when you compare it to things like RPGs like The Witcher, Cyberpunk, even some other first person shooters like BioShock, it doesn't stand up. But for a Call of Duty campaign, this one was very good and very fun. One of the big strengths of this campaign is the characters feel more thought out and more fleshed out. Like Ghost is the big example. We all love Ghost. Ghost is cool, but Ghost was just a cool guy in a mask. He was just a cool guy. That's like kind of was his personality, which works. And everyone was sad back in the old Modern Warfare 2 when he was killed. I was like heartbroken. But this Ghost has a lot of personality. There's a lot of conversations with him that make him have a more fleshed out character, and I really, really like this Ghost. That's just the biggest difference between the old Modern Warfare 2 and this one, is while some of the missions aren't as action packed as that one, there's more of a story they're trying to tell. It succeeds for the most part at telling a good story. Some things feel convenient, and this definitely isn't a direct sequel to Modern Warfare 2019. There's some storylines from that game that just aren't present, and they definitely have some continuity breaches, I feel like. But it's a loose, sometime later kind of sequel to the last one, so like all the characters still matter. But some of the storylines I feel like were either left out or forgotten about. But in general, the story is good. The gameplay is fun. There's a very good variety of gameplay. Call of Duty is known for having like its air support missions and all this different kinds of things, but there's a very good variety here, which is really nice. You don't feel like you're doing the same type of mission 4 or 5 times in a row, which is stuff like where Advanced Warfare failed. Advanced Warfare had really fun like movement mechanics and weapons, but like it felt like the same thing over and over and over again. Where this gives you a nice variety and changes it up. You're not playing as the same character the whole time, so you're halfway across the world the next mission, which is a really, really nice change of pace to keep you locked in. Things this campaign does not do super well is, this could be my bad luck. You might not have this experience, but I had a couple crashes at set pieces. Like there's press some button to do something, and my game crashed like 4 or 5 times. It ran very smooth when it was running, but it had a lot of technical like hiccups. Like, oh, do this thing, press X to breach, do this, detonate this, and my game would crash. Could be me, but I feel like my computer's pretty good. It's a 3070 with the 5800X, so I don't feel like I should have problems playing a Call of Duty campaign, but I did have some. And while I like the change of pace of going from different team to different team, it felt like there was not a lot of continuity of what you're doing. They jump back and forth a lot, which isn't a bad thing for gameplay's sake, but for story's sake, it just feels like we're jumping so much that like the stories aren't weaving super well until the very end. They end up working out together, and it ends up being okay, but there's definitely a little bit of weirdness with how much you're switching perspectives of which character you're playing as. For the fans of the old games, there is a lot here. A lot of the old Modern Warfare stuff is mentioned. I won't say what, I won't say when or how, but you'll be very excited about this campaign. So overall, my experience with the campaign was good. I would give it a B compared to other games. And when it comes to Call of Duty alone, just Call of Duty campaign standards, I think it's an A for that. But I think, again, compared to every other game, we'll give this a B. I think it's a really solid effort. It it did a lot, and they actually thought about Call of Duty's campaign, and that's what I appreciate, because there's some games that just slap one on there and it's not it. Um, I did not like Vanguard's last time around, so this was very good to have them come back and tried. Last thing I do want to mention is that they added like kind of dialogue choices there's not many of them, and it's not all the time, but you get to kind of choose what your response, and the conversations do change, so we can have different conversations. You can play it through multiple times, learn certain things about certain characters, which I think was a cool new step for Call of Duty, and I hope they continue with that. There's a lot of things they tried and a lot of things that worked in this game that I hope we see more of. And with the rumored campaign DLC in year 2, the big rumor is right now is this time next year, because there's no new Call of Duty game, that we're going to get a campaign expansion that's paid, and I would gladly pay for more of this because it was fun and I enjoyed it, and there's more of a story to follow. You're not just, I'm done with the campaign now, I don't care about these characters. I feel like, oh, okay, I want to see all these characters back now, and it's not just me running through a game shooting stuff. So that was my review for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I think you should definitely bother. And to kind of rank all the Call of Duty campaigns, I'm not normally big on ranking things because it's super subjective. And honestly, when I play them again, sometimes it changes. But I'll go over my top 5, and I'll put a list of all Call of Duty campaigns since COD 4. 1, 2, and 3, I was really young when I played, and they weren't my thing. So I'm going from Call of Duty 4 onward. And my top 5 is pretty, 4 and 5 could move around a little bit, but my top 3 are pretty set. My favorite one is COD 4 Modern Warfare, the original 2007. That was my favorite thing when I was a kid. I can remember all of those missions from Wet Work to All Gillied Up, like just all of them. I love that campaign. It's simple, it's quick, it's a shoot 'em up, but it's really fun, and the story wasn't half bad for what kind of era we were in for COD. Second was Black Ops. I love the Vietnam setting. I still make the joke with my friends, what do the numbers mean, Mason? All the time. And I absolutely love that game. Those have some iconic characters. They're not quite on level Price, but some good characters. And I actually put this campaign third. I think it's a step up from Modern Warfare 2019, and I think it's better than the original MW2 campaign. It doesn't have the shock value that the original MW2 had, because I remember coming out of that barracks in 2009 and seeing like the White House and like the Washington Monument destroyed, and I'm just like, wow, that's crazy looking. All right, and the number 4 is MW2 in 2009. It's just barely behind this one, and I round up my top 5 with actually Black Ops Cold War. I enjoyed that very much. The Cold War is an era I like, and I think the choices and the different endings did a lot for the campaign. I played it multiple times, which is not something I normally do. So I think that's a solid top 5. And let me know what your ranking would be. What would you change on my list? But I think there's only a handful of Call of Duty campaigns I really didn't like. Like, I did not like Advanced Warfare. I really didn't like Vanguards. And then I thought Black Ops 3 was kind of out there. Black Ops 4 didn't even have one, because I guess we didn't do that back then. They just decided we're taking a year off campaigns. So thank you all for watching. I will have a multiplayer review coming out on launch weekend. And then when Warzone and DMZ come out, I'll have a review for those as well. DMZ is what I'm really excited about. I'm going to be grinding on the live stream a lot in multiplayer to try to gear myself up for DMZ. And I hope to see y'all there.